We are going to be looking at returns today. I was actually just going to do the return like film on my own, but I was like, hey, we should just kind of share with everyone. We played a tournament this weekend, did not go the way we wanted it to go, went 0 and 4, but learned a lot of really valuable things. Brand new partnership, those things kind of take time to gel, but we learned some things. And one of the things I learned that I had already learned, but learned it even more, is that our returns are really getting us hurt. Because my returns specifically are either too short or too soft, is my theory. But people don't talk about the return. The return's everything. It's actually more important than the serve, in my opinion. You can nullify a good serve with a good return. Now, the serve is important to get a bad return. You want a bad return if you're the serving team, but you can nullify a good serve with a good return. Okay, so returns are everything. What do? They set up that third for your opponent. So when you hit a good return, a return where your opponent on average they start at the baseline. If your opponent on average is now starting inside the baseline, then you need to up your return. We don't want them starting that close. The closer they are to their goal, the net, getting the ball over the net, landing the ball in the kitchen, or having you hit up on the ball, either works, right? For them to be able to move up. The closer they are to their target, the more likely they are going to transition up. And transition is the game within the game. You win transition, you're going to win the game 9 times out of 10. And so, however, if you're getting people to start a foot behind the baseline, 2 feet behind the baseline on average, which is really difficult to do, but if you're accomplishing that with a good return, now you're setting yourself up to win a lot of matches because that's their starting third position, 2 feet behind the baseline, meaning they're 24 feet away from the net versus being 20 feet away from the net, or worse, 18, 16 feet. So we want to look at the pros today. Specifically, I want to look at how hard they're actually hitting, but we're going to look at a myriad of things. Okay, so let me actually pull up real quick here. Let me do a test. Oh yeah, that looks great. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and start. We're gonna look at the pro film, and then we'll probably look at some of my film too. Scarily enough, we did not play well this weekend, but it's all part of it. All right, so we'll probably also look at a little bit of how returns actually are hit here. Okay, so we're gonna go baseline to baseline speed. I'm gonna assume right there is baseline, okay? Because we need to know how far it is to calculate speed, right? And then I'm going to have to make some assumptions. I can tell by the shadow of the ball just a little bit. But they're going 44 feet right here at 467, right? And that's on the serve, 467. Anyways, what we need to look for is return speed. I cannot see this return. We're going to make some guesses, okay? This return starts back, let's say where it gets to, where's that ball shadow? Ball's, I guess, moving so fast it doesn't have a shadow. Is that how that works? No, it's just too high off the ground. Okay, I'm gonna say about right. Oh no, I can see the shadow of the ball actually, I think. No, I can't. Just kidding. All right, that's a little ahead, but that's at 471. So I'm going to calculate how long it takes. Probably about right there. I would say 471 to 765. All right, what's 471? 765 minus 471. I'm doing some math you can't see here. That's baseline to baseline in 300 milliseconds. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull up our calculator here. We're going to go 44 feet in 0.3 seconds. Okay, calculating. There's no way I did that wrong. All right, so is this seconds? Yes, in 0.3 seconds. Yo, that's so funny. Yeah, I miscalculated that. All right, let's go back. Math is hard, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's go back here. I'm going to say about, this is 30 frames per second. That's part of the problem. All right. 464. Yeah, definitely not. That's my fault. 464. He hits the ball. The ball gets there about right there. 464. So what's 802 minus 464? Let's try this again. 802. 802 minus 464. Went 44 feet and 1.33. Let's call it just 1.3. All right, 1.3. Calculate here. There we go. All right, about 23 miles an hour. Huh? All right, I'm going to log this. We need to be doing that. All right, 23. Okay. Let's actually check the quality of return, though, here. So that's actually a pretty good return. I mean, JW starting. He's going to hit this ball behind the baseline. But we're going to fast forward through the points. We're just going to look at returns here. I wish I could see. Oh, this is better. Much better. Okay, here we go. Again, we're having to make some guesses here. But J-Dub's right there. I'd say, oof, that's tough. Man, that's so tough to decide. I'm going to call it right there. 902. That's actually much faster, I think. About right there. 902. Yeah. J-Dubs was a lot faster. 902 is about 115. So we'll go 115. Oh, shoot. Yeah, this is going to be tough for me to go back and forth like this. About 26 miles an hour. All right, I'll categorize that. 26. And I'm actually going to do, this was Gabe. Gabe was 23. JW 26, right? And we're not going to do a long stream today. We're just going to do some basics here. Get some preliminary data. We probably need a lot more than this, but I'm going to call it right there. Okay. 8672. So 672. What a return, man. Probably right there. 672. About 1.1 this time. Not bad. 1.1. Same thing. About 27 miles an hour from J-Dub. Wait. That was Klinger this time, right? Yeah, that was Klinger this time. So let's go back. CJ was about 27 miles per hour. Same as J-Dub. All right. All right. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Let's just fast forward through all this good stuff. And I actually want to see here how JW hits. So he hits, he's already running. Let's see if he takes long strides. They're kind of long, but he kind of slows up and he's late. That'll be really interesting to see. Right there, probably 467. Right there, 467. Again, about 26. Yeah, same amount. Same amount. Oh, dang. Still not doing it right. Still not showing you guys the video. All right, so that was JW again at 27. Very interesting. All right, so let's go back again. I'll try to do better with this, managing all of it. I do have... let's not do that. All right, so let's see here. CJ is going to hit the ball about right there. I'll give it there. 098. Right there. 098. About 1200 that time. We'll call it 1250. And I'll just keep it on here. You can see I'm doing the calculations. So I'm going to go 1250 right here. That was about 24 miles an hour. All right. This is actually coming up a lot easier. I want to see Ben's. So I want to get a couple of him returning. But we're getting some solid data just on JW in general and CJ. I'd say right there at 830. And then 830, that was about 1200 that time. All right. So again, right in that range. 25 miles an hour that time for JW. All right, I think we've got enough on JW in them. I don't think... I'll be interested to see Federico's and Alshon's. That'll be really interesting. All right, we're going to get one more on CJ here. We'll call it right there, 370. And then the ball here, 370. 1230. Yeah, about the same. About the same. 1230. So that would have been, about 25 miles an hour. Okay. All right. Let's get some of Gabe and Ben. I don't think these return speeds are really going to deviate that much over the course of a match, because we're in the beginning, or we're in the middle, so now they've got it kind of got warmed up. Right there, that's a little extra. I'm going to call that 800. CJ gets it before, so I'm going to push it. Now, Ben's pushing here. That was about 1050. So, or sorry, a second and then 50 milliseconds rather. So that was 28. That was kind of a bigger... That was a bigger return. So he's at 28 miles an hour. And let's see where he's at. So he hits. See if he takes big steps. He really doesn't, man. And he's late again. Really interesting. All right. Let's see Gabe's return here. Ooh, this is a good angle for us, I think. Probably right there at 700. 700. CJ takes this before, so we'll call it there. 700. Ooh, I need to make sure I got that right. That was a really slow... Oh, that was super slow. That's a super slow return. He just mishit it. All right, let's not use that because he's right at 700. It's going to go past 700 and be hit right there. That was 15. That was about 1450 there. Okay. So 145, that's about 21 miles an hour. I'm sure Gabe would say that's not the return he was looking for. All right. So let's see Ben here. Probably about right there, 330. And then, yeah, that was a deeper return. That was a really good return. So at about 330 here. Bounces there, probably right there, 330, 1.1 probably. Man, I will say something about Ben. He just seems to just kind of do everything at the top. Like, I used to think, like, he doesn't do anything that blows me away. And I think what it is that he does everything so well that when you watch him play, it just all kind of like it's the frog in the boiling hot water, right? Like, or the warm water that gets hotter over time. Like, he does every stat that I do, he hits the top. That he's by far that I've seen besides maybe Alshon. I haven't clocked Alshon yet, but he hits his drives the hardest out of anybody. He just I mean, he just does everything. It's like he's like top 5 at everything, maybe even top 2 at everything. And that there's just so many things to be good at in pickleball. And it's a lot, man. It's a lot. All right, so we've already got stuff on CJ and JW. So let's just keep going. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Who's returning this? Ben's returning this. All right. So I'll put it right there at 865. And then that ball, we're going to have to guess here. I'm going to say, oh, that we're not going to count this one. That was really, really slow return. He mishit it. All right, so let's just go back because we're not looking at the average. We're looking at the ideal average. Like how, like in a good return, how fast is this thing going? All right, probably a little too early or a little too late. 140, call it 140 right there. 140, 235. 140, 235. Yeah, about 1.1. It's another 27 mile an hour right there. It's really good by Gabe. Okay. And then, I mean, Gabe is already there. Look how long his strides are, though, I think. Look at this. Look at that stride. Look at this stride. I mean, he's taking huge strides, and he's there in time. That is fascinating. Okay. We're going to come back to that. I think people got to start taking longer strides when they return. We're going to watch me. We're going to see how small my strides are. Sad face. All right, let's watch this. Backhand, so it's probably going to be a little slower. Maybe right there at 870. Maybe right there. 870. About 1.25 seconds. That's going to get us 24 miles an hour for Ben. All right. And then I want to do a couple more. I don't know why. I'm a little fascinated with Gabe and Ben here. Gabe had a really good return. So let's see. I'd say right there probably. Let's actually go back then if it's there. Ah, frick. They got me on that one. 498. JW hits it early, so we'll give it there. 498. That was a really slow return, I think. Yeah. I think that let's go back. We'll look at the speed just in case. So 466. Already a second right there. JW hits 466. That was about 1.5. So, and that makes 20 miles an hour. JW was really easy, able to easily handle that. Look at that. So the difference between a 20 mile per hour return, a 27 mile per hour, I think is pretty significant in terms of the quality of third that you're going to give these guys. The faster the ball goes, just more difficult to hit, right? All right, let's see Ben here. All right, so Ben's going to go right there at 304. Then JW at contact probably. 304. That was about 14. That was another slow one, 1400. It's all the backhands. So what does that tell you guys? Serve to the backhand. Okay, we're not going to count that one. That's just not a great return. Now the depth of it. Let's look at the depth again. Depth's not great. And actually, let's see how Ben gets up there. Let's see him hit. Let's see if he gets there on time. Not really. Gabe might be the only one that gets there on time. It feels like everyone else is kind of slow. We'll look more at returns again. I'm only going to do about 10 more minutes. But we're just looking at speed right now. So 102. J-Dub, another one. Probably about right there. That was even slower. Okay. That was another backhand. So guys, if you want easier thirds, hit to the backhand. All right, here's a forehand. Bam. All right, 735. Right there. 735, yeah. 735. About 115. 115. 26 miles an hour. All right, so looking at this, the ones to the backhand are a lot slower. We're averaging here, I would say, about 24 miles an hour. I need to get a different feed on my, or a different feed for streaming so you can kind of see what I'm seeing here. I'll probably set up a new scene for that. But about 24 miles an hour. Great return at 27. But it's not just about speed, right? It's about depth. So let's actually take a look at some of our games that we played. And let's see what mine would have been. This is not a good one. Let's do this one. Yeah, this is a good one. This is a good one. All right. Let me pull that up for us. Switch out. Great. All right. All right. So none of this. We need to see our returns. All right. Here's my return coming up, and we're gonna have to do some educated guessing here. I'm back here. I'm gonna say right there, which is 855. Really bad return. Not bad, but not great. I'd say right there, 855. 855 is about 1.3, 1.2. 1.2. So it had the speed. So it's good speed. I did not get there on time. So I'm thinking part of it is, if you watch me in the corner here, I'm planted and then hit and start to run, and that's going to make me late. So you got to be hitting on the run. Like, we can watch the pros later, but that's definitely part of it, is you got to be hitting on the run. Now, this is going to be such a bad return. That's so bad. You just can't return like that. You just can't do it. All right, here comes another return. Because I'm wondering if I've just been returning too hard. Because I feel like I'm not getting there in time. Now, you're not going to get there on time if you hit you hit a hard return and you hit it short. Okay, it's just not going to happen. But this is another one. Yep, a slow get off there. All right, let me see. Yeah, this isn't one I'm too worried about, because I'm worried about not if mine are too slow, but if mine are too fast. So we got to find one where I hit. Yeah, that's probably a good one to look at. Okay. Man, they kept serving me in that corner. I think probably right there. 947. He's going to hit it right at the baseline. 947. 947. It's about 1.2. And I think if we look, let me go back here. 1.2. Yeah, I mean, it's the power. It's the power that you want. I think my movement, being efficient to get there on time, is part of the issue. Longer strides, probably. I'm not exactly sure. A couple more minutes here. Okay, here's a return. Better idea. 031. Probably right there. 031. I mean, that was 1300 milliseconds, so definitely not too fast. Probably like 22 miles an hour, 23 miles an hour. Definitely not too fast. Probably too short. That's the problem. It's too short. Okay, so I think I got my answer. I don't think I'm hitting too fast. I think that I'm just not being efficient in my movement. So here we go. Here's a good one for movement efficiency. Right there. 697. Not a bad return, not a great one. 697. Yeah, no. 697 would have been 697 right here. 697. Yeah, I mean, that's actually not very fast. I'm not returning very fast. Okay, so let's look at different film. Because this was our first two games. And then I told my partner, I was like, hey, look, I'm going to get way more aggressive with my returns. I'd rather get more aggressive and lose. Let's actually go to this one. I'd rather get more aggressive. Oh, nope, 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 nope. I'd rather get more aggressive and lose than walk away and drive away from the tournament and be like, dang, I left a lot out there on the table, right? So I started hitting my returns a lot harder. All right, so this is my return. That's not going to be a good return. Let's go back here. Another bad return. All right, let's see if this one got better. No. Jeez. See? Returns. Returns will set you up poorly. Set you up for failure. Another bad one. Starting inside the baseline. Can't let people start inside the baseline. Just can't do it. Better. Okay. So this is going to be really hard to judge. I mean, you're just going to have to guess. Coming out, 099. 099. Let's, yeah, not very fast. So I think we can stop right there. I don't think that my return is that. It's not my return speed. That's the problem. That's what I was concerned. I was concerned that the pros lay up a little bit on their returns. And they don't actually swing super hard. And I'm hitting the ball too hard and not giving myself enough time to get up. But I don't think that's the case. So backhand going to be a little slower. Let's see how big Ben's steps are. They're actually pretty big. They're not small by any means. So how you can kind of apply this for yourself is film yourself. Like, see how long it actually takes your return to get from baseline to baseline. And then actually watch. This is going to be Gabe. So Gabe's actually already moving through the ball. Look at these, dude, his steps are so huge. Let's see how many he takes from baseline. So one step from the baseline, 2, 3, 4 split. 4 steps and a split. That's so wild. Let's see everybody else. So Ben is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd say he's about 5. It's not bad. It's not bad. Let's see some more returns here. Good return. What a return. All right, so Gabe, I think that's a hard return right there. Gabe's actually a little late there as well, but I think you sacrificed that for a good return. And JW didn't even want to drop it. He's like, nah, I'm just gonna drive this. You know, he actually got into Gabe's forehand, unfortunately. I think that they might be able to get out of it. I want to see how JW hit this. Bam. Just hit it like a normal drive. I can tell because he comes up here with the paddle versus like coming down here or something like that. Or coming up here. Yeah, that was really good. Let's go back. So let's watch this. Gabe hits. Yeah, they're trying to hit as hard as they can. I think the biggest thing, though, that I've noticed is I'm still and then I hit and then I push forward and hit. They're not still. Watch how many steps Gabe takes before he hits this ball. He takes one step, it's on his right foot, and he hits and then just goes. We can look at the other guys real quick. I'm going to quit streaming here in just a second. So Ben did there more what I do. He's still like relatively on time though. And I guess JW serve. That was a pretty deep serve. Not exactly sure. Looks a little suspicious. Let's look at two more real quick. Let's watch JW. See how many steps he takes. So he's going to take, let's call it 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd say he's about at Ben. He's around 4.5. I thought Ben was going to make that. Let's actually watch this. That's so crazy. This is a pretty good return. And then a pretty good backhand fourth. Ben just kind of whips it. Thought he hit it. That's crazy. Whips it with the slice. So CJ does more probably like what I do. He's stationary and then goes. And he might be a little late, and that's why. All right, guys. Good work today. I'll probably do more on this. I'll try not to do it by myself. I'll try to do it while I stream so you guys can actually see. So the average, someone's asking, so the average serve speed, is it, roughly about 25 miles an hour? Very small sample size. Very small sample size of some of the best pros. I'd like to really see Alshon and Federico and see how hard they return, but it's looking like the average is 25. Real quick on returns. Really, the first thing you do is get your return in, depending on what level. We're going to run the gambit from 2-0 all the way up to, 7-3, 7-4, whatever Ben Johns is now, okay? In that 2-0 to 3-0 range, you need to be trying to get your ball in, okay? At that 3-0 to 4-0 range, you need to be trying to get your ball deep, okay? After you've mastered in, go to deep, okay? After you've mastered deep, you're going for that 4-0 to 5-0. You need to be working with speed, okay? You need to hit balls hard and learn how to efficiently get up. 5-0 to 6-0, you're probably looking at maybe 5-0 to 5-5. Maybe you're looking at hitting the backhand, and then 5-5 to 6-0 on up, you're maybe looking to try to hit your return into the body. That's really difficult. That's really, really hard, and I'm not really sure the pros even are able to do anything like that because the return's probably the hardest shot in pickleball. Because of the serve. The serve is coming off of a controlled ball. Okay? There's no other ball in pickleball as easy to hit as the serve because you get to dictate by dropping or by volley serving where that ball is at your contact point. Okay? It's like if you hit a serve and someone hit the ball back in pickleball, the rules let you catch the third, right? And drop it and hit. You could hit those all day, right? So return the hardest shot in pickleball. It's the hardest shot because it's coming off of a controlled volley, and it's the only ball that will come off a controlled volley, right? But you've got to get these right. You've got to get them, and if you don't, your average starting third position for the serve team is probably the most important stat, in my opinion. And so that is all based on the return. Now the serve influences it, but it's all based on the return. So really great question. Hope that helped you guys out. We'll probably be looking at, efficiency of return, how fast. That's probably the next one we'll look at. How fast is everybody actually getting from the baseline to the kitchen line? We'll see who the fastest players are. How are they actually getting there? I bet it's Federico, and Gabe's looking like a strong candidate. But I bet it's Fed from playing singles would be my guess. Maybe Alshon as well, but I think Fed might be a little quicker. Maybe Alshon will be offended by that, and he can at me for it.